Welcome to the Reality of Herbal Therapy podcast. You know how every spring we clean out our homes, dust, sweep, clear out the clutter that's built up over time, over the last year? What do we do about our bodies? Just like our homes, our bodies also collect waste and toxins throughout the year. That's where cleansing comes in. Today, we're going to talk about the difference between a gentle once-a-year spring cleaning for your body and then the more intense deep cleanses and which one you would want to do and why pick which one. So stick around because by the end of this episode, you'll know how to choose the right cleanse for where you are in your health journey. Okay, so let's talk about the two different kinds of cleanses. So this started off by a question. Somebody was like, okay, I want to use the full body cleanse. And so the full body cleanse, in case you're not familiar with it, it has 15 bags in it. Each bag is 8 capsules. And what it does is it's a gentle, easy kind of cleanse the entire body all at once. So it has bladney in it, which helps to clean out the kidneys and the urinary tract and things like that. Blood wash, which cleans out the blood. It also cleans out the lymphatics and the skin. Ammonia to help build up the lungs and cleanse the respiratory system. Colonic caps to help move the digestion, to keep digestion moving and happening. And it also cleans out the colon. Live Clean, which is a liver cleansing herb. And then Colser, which cleanses the entire digestive system from, as Dr. James would say, from the lipstick to the toilet paper, everywhere in between. So why do we have the full body cleanse? So basically, as we're talking about it, sometimes people need just that gentle once a year cleanse. We're constantly exposed to all sorts of things, and our bodies will have a buildup. And so by going through the full body cleanse once a year or twice a year, depending on, what you're exposed to, will clean out, some of the top laying stuff that's going on in your body. So it's kind of like a reset, just a simple once a year or twice a year kind of thing to kind of clean out your body to help it be healthy, to kind of get on top of the buildup of toxins and things that are in our environment. The nice thing about the full body cleanse is it's gentle and it's kind of drawn out over 15 days. And if, for example, it's too much, you can actually split them up so it's more than 15 days. So take one every other day. It'll last you a month, or do 2 full body cleanses and do it for a month. The best time to take the full body cleanse is in the evening, simply because that is when our bodies go through and do their cleansing. When we're asleep, our bodies put all of their effort into cleaning and cleansing and stuff. So taking the full body cleanse at night is the best time to take it. And the nice thing about the full body cleanse is it's easy. I mean, there's not any specialized diets. There's not anything that you have to do. It's just the 8 capsules that you take in the evening before bed. So it's pretty easy to do. So let's compare that to a deep cleanse. For example, a kidney cleanse, a liver cleanse, doing a heavy metal cleanse, or a parasite cleanse. All of these cleanses are really brisk. They're really strong on the system. The liver cleanse it's a 2-day thing. And basically you have to make sure that you aren't going anywhere because it's going to make you tired. It will, it's going to take a lot out of your body, but also you don't want to get very far from the toilet because you are severely cleansing. Your bowels are flushing out completely. So you want to make sure that you're not doing anything because the cleanse is intense. But after you do that, there's an amazing feeling of like digestion. Your liver is working much better. Your gallbladder isn't working so hard. A lot of times you'll get rid of a lot of stones and stuff. Another cleanse is the kidney cleanse. There's a really easy kidney cleanse, but you don't want to be doing too much or get too far from the bathroom because you're going to have to urinate a lot when you do a kidney cleanse. And the simplest kidney cleanse So the simplest of kidney cleanses is to eat a whole watermelon. The reason you do this is because a watermelon basically that much watermelon will flush your kidneys and your bladder and the entire urinary tract. So, and it kind of like, because of all that liquid and everything, not only does it flush it, but it cleanses it. It washes it out. So it's a really wonderful cleanse and an easy cleanse to do. And the reason, if you have stones or any buildup in the kidneys, it will pull those out. Like early the start onset of stones. Not if you have big stones, you don't want to do that. Do the watermelon because it's going to cause it to put a lot of pressure behind the stones. If you want to go through that much pain, but it's very painful. There are other things that you can do to like to get stones to move. So for the watermelon cleanse, the watermelon you want to pick, Dr. James when he would go to pick a watermelon for like my wife or anybody else he was doing it for, he would look for the biggest one he could find. The bigger, the better, he always said, because you're getting a whole lot more water. So another cleanse that we talk about is a heavy metal cleanse. Now, if you haven't heard about heavy metals, basically our body cannot do anything with it. Heavy metals are aluminum. Aluminum's a very common one because everything we have is packaged in it. There's aluminum cans, and we cook on aluminum dishware, cookware, and stuff. So we are exposed to a lot of aluminum. But there are other heavy metals: silver, gold, iron. They're metals that our body can't process. So what our body does is wraps it in fat and just sticks it somewhere. So mercury, there's another one that's common everywhere and stuff. So for a heavy metal cleanse, one that Dr. James suggested that worked really amazing is to get a 120 bottle of detoxification, and you take 10 capsules every night before bed. Now, this is a cleanse. It's not one that's going to put you down, but as you're stirring up a lot of toxins and a lot of heavy metals and stuff. And, heavy metal toxicity has been linked to dementia, Alzheimer's, all sorts of brain issues, lots of liver issues. So as you're pulling those heavy metals out, it can make you tired. It can just wear you down and stuff. So, you want to pick a week of doing that heavy metal cleanse when you don't have a lot of expectations put upon you, because it's not as brisk. It's not like cleaning out the colon to the point where you feel transparent, like can't even, walk through the house kind of thing. You can still live your life and keep going, but it can be taxing to the body. So another cleanse, there's the gallbladder cleanse. So basically, Dr. James would suggest that, especially if you've had gallbladder surgery and you can't do the full liver cleanse because of everything. So the gallbladder cleanse is a 5-day cleanse. Start off with, on day 1, you drink a quart of apple juice. So you do like a fast in the morning, drink apple juice. And then for the next 4 days, so days 2, 3, 4, and 5, you drink a mixture of lemon juice, olive oil, and garlic mixed in. And you want fresh garlic. You squeeze it basically until you get it all gushy and juicy and stuff. And you drink that. And then you can sip on ginger tea, and it's like a fast. You fast with that drink for those 5 days, well, the 4 days after the apple juice. And during that cleanse, you want to avoid too much oils and fats and things like that, so that you can get that pressure behind the gallbladder, or it cleans out the ducts in the liver if you've had your gallbladder removed. So those are some of the really brisk cleanses that we suggest. So like the differences with the full body cleanse, you've got a whole body approach. It's just kind of like cleaning off the surface. It's not deep and stuff. It's great for maintenance or prevention, that sort of thing. The deep cleanses, though, it's very targeted. You're targeting the kidneys, the liver, the heavy metals. You're targeting one specific thing. Oh, the I was going to mention kidney stones. So if you've got kidney stones really bad, doing either a kidney cleanse or the watermelon cleanse, those are kind of rough and you can't handle it. But for kidney stones, what we suggest is getting fresh parsley and make a tea out of it. And we've got other podcasts and stuff on the website, so you can see how to make that parsley tea. And you want to drink at least a quart a day of that, and take 6 to 9 bladney a day. And what that does is, if you've ever seen what a kidney stone looks like, it looks like a ball that's covered in really sharp spikes. And they're really pointy and painful. And the reason it's so painful to pass a kidney stone is because those spikes hook into the tubes in your kidneys and in your bladder, and it just makes gouges as they move along and rips everything up. And there's all sorts of blood, and they're very, very painful. So the parsley tea and the bladney will basically wear off those sharp points and make it a lot easier to pass them. So going back to the difference between the cleanses, full body cleanse, it's gentle, hits like all of the major cleansing organs in our body so that they can function properly. There's not that toxic load, whereas a deep cleanse is very targeted, pointed at one specific thing. And you don't want to do a deep cleanse. It's not like something you want to do every single day. They're used on occasion when you've got a massive buildup. So when it comes to cleansing, there's who should do it. You have your beginners, people that are new to cleansing. The full body cleanse is a great way to start. You're going to clean out a lot of the systems, and it's going to give you that, feeling of being, that feeling better and stuff. So going back to at the beginning, I said somebody asked, they're like, should I do the full body cleanse or maybe something else, or do the full body cleanse and take some detoxification with it? So I asked deeper questions, and they have got all sorts of health things going on, but they're extremely overloaded with heavy metals. So I suggested, the full body cleanse would be great and it's nice, but it's not going to address the issue that they're having. Doing that detoxification cleanse that I talked about, that will hit those deep pockets of heavy metals and get the deep heavy metals out of the body. And the thing to remember is, with the full body cleanse, it doesn't take much preparation. You don't have to do certain things. With the deep cleanses, there's preparation and there's follow-up. So if you're going to do a liver cleanse, I always suggest, if you plan far enough ahead, to take 1 live clean a day for 14 days before you do the liver cleanse or that liver flush, because it prepares the liver. It's starting to clean things up, starting to open things up, and it makes doing a liver flush so much easier and so much better. But afterwards, then you want to follow it up with live clean and colonic caps, because that will keep the movement going that you did from that liver flush. So it takes a lot of preparation. Sometimes it requires rest. If you've got massive health issues, doing a cleanse, you always want to do it with a professional guidance, having somebody that knows about cleanses and knows what things to watch for. Those are really, really important. So whatever cleanse you're doing, you want to remember lots and lots of water. For anything to do with any cleanse, lots of water, because water it's the cleanser. It absorbs things, it holds on to things, it makes it so we can urinate or we can move our bowels. Water is really, really important. So before doing any cleanse, make sure you're really well hydrated. And Dr. James's way to tell if you're dehydrated or not is on your thumb. If you press down on your thumb for a couple of seconds and let go, if it bounces right back, you're hydrated. If it leaves a little dent in your thumb from pressing down with your finger, if a dent stays there for a minute, you're dehydrated and you don't have enough water. So it's an easy way to tell if you need to add more water to your daily diet. So also with cleansing, you want to do light, easy foods. Avoid heavy foods like a lot of meats and things like that. A lot of vegetables are really good. So you want to have if you're doing a cleanse, make sure that it's at least 75% vegetables while you're doing the cleanse, and a little bit before and after, because those foods tend to help continue the cleanse that you started. And then whatever cleanse you do, you want to make sure that you are keeping the elimination going. So if you're doing the full body cleanse, that one has the colonic caps, which help the bowels to move. But if you do a liver cleanse, you want to make sure that the bowels continue to move. Any heavy metal cleanse, make sure that your bowels are continuing to move. And we were talking with somebody the other day, and they said they had a client that they were like, yes, my bowels move once a week. And they were quite shocked. And basically your bowels should be moving once, if not 3 times a day. Every time you eat within an hour, your bowels should be saying, okay, let's get rid of the old stuff and start working on the new stuff. So it's important that your bowels are moving if you're doing any sort of cleanse, because if you don't, you're stirring up all sorts of toxins, and then they're just going to settle right back into wherever they were. So like if you're cleaning out your lymphatics, they're going to go right back to the lymphatics. If you don't have a way to eliminate what you've done. So we talked about anything that it does with the bowels, liver, pancreas, bowels, anything like that. You want to make sure your bowels are functioning properly. Kidneys, make sure not only are you hydrated, but you're doing extra water so that your kidneys and your bladder continue to flush, because you want to get those toxins out. Skin, you want to make sure that you're able to wash off the skin. Like our skin, basically a lot of toxins come out through the skin. And if we don't do anything about it, then they just get absorbed back into the skin. So make sure that if you're doing any cleanse that does the skin or the lymphatics, you want to make sure that you are washing off the skin, brushing it off, whatever, several times in a day, like during your cleanse. So cleansing is it's a long-term preventative thing. Like we talked about, heavy metals have been linked to dementia and other memory problems and stuff. So by doing a heavy metal cleanse or making sure you're keeping the heavy metals out of your body, it will make a huge difference as far as a preventative thing goes. So doing cleanses is a very preventative thing. Cleansing the liver, there's all sorts of issues that can come up if the liver isn't functioning properly. So cleansing the liver on a schedule with a regular cleansing schedule will make a huge difference. And so, that's why we suggest the full body cleanse. When we came up with the full body cleanse, there are certain things that everybody needs to cleanse often, but to make it gentle, so it's not like something where you can't live your daily life. Doing the full body cleanse, you can live your life and continue on and everything. So I appreciate you being here and listening with us. Subscribe anywhere you listen to the podcast at, and we will talk to you next time.
It is not the intent of professional herbal instruction or any persons associated therewith to diagnose or prescribe. The intent is only to offer herbal information for your consideration. In the event you use this information without your doctor's approval, you are prescribing for yourself, which is your God-given right. But professional herbal instruction or any persons associated herewith assume no responsibility. The claims and statements made on this podcast have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.